preference then, if we're going to do something crazy, the next map is Iron Fortress. 4 players, so, you know, break my heart. No money gates this game, but maybe something else a little more cheeky?
Yeah, I think the way that this has been going so far, you know, game number 1, he really needed a Spore Crawler, didn't have one. Of course, that was a very unique game. Game number 2, he made Spore Crawlers and didn't need them. So I would say this is the perfect scenario for game number 3, where you try to tuck away a Stargate in the back of your main base and then let your Oracles just
go ham. All right, well, it is going to be time to find out very shortly, of course. Like we said, 4-player map, all spawns are possible, so players will not have perfect information of where each other are going to start off. It's very important that scouting is employed to a good degree, because we could also see maybe Rogue pull off some other kind of desperation play. Maybe he doesn't feel, you know, maybe he feels defeated already.
I mean, he doesn't have to be that desperate yet. I think the best thing right now for Rogue to do is just forget about those 2 very frustrating games and just look at this. You're going up against one of the best Protoss players in the world, maybe the absolute best, but it's Iron Fortress. That is a good map for Zerg. It's very difficult for Protoss to go up to 3 bases because it's a very wide open map. So, you know, just believe in yourself, and we saw it with Live against Classic as well. This is not a map where 3 or 4 force fields is going to be enough to push that Zerg army away, especially not when they utilize Burrow in the mix as well.
Yeah, got some SOS fans here. Some people have been watching this guy win a lot of money, Roddy. I will say that the fans have really shown up here for this BlizzCon. I saw a dude dressed as a Hydralisk.
I've seen the Hydralisk as well.
It's incredible. Actually, he like slithered up to me. I was like, actually, this is my nightmare right now, you know, as a Terran.
It was even scary for me, Nate, because I walked past it and I was like, ah, it's a cool statue, and then it moved. I was like, ah.
That's awesome. Obviously, a lot of you guys very passionate, dedicated fans to all sorts of Blizzard games. We're very happy to have you here for the World Championship Series Global Finals as we get ready to move on into 2016 and Legacy of the Void. But this series, it's already been intense. We are loading in to Iron Fortress for our 3rd and possibly final map of the 2nd semifinal.
We are 1 map win away from having the absolute dream final here at BlizzCon 2015. Like, can you believe it, Nate? The world champ of 2013 going up against the champ of 2014 at the grand finals of the last Heart of the Swarm event. It honestly couldn't be better than that.
Yeah, it is the perfect story, but can this man change esports history in the Southeast? The blue Zerg from Jin Air Green Wings, he's Rogue! And the man who stands to go up against Life to fight for the first man to be 2-time world champion. Give it up for SOS!
As we are getting ready for our game on Iron Fortress, we do know that they are spawning on horizontal positions, which I think in general is a good thing for Protoss. It allows you to do some plays that are not normally possible when it's cross-map. It's a lot easier to go for strong 2-base attacks, and I think Rogue is not super happy with it. It's not the end of the world, but I think this is the best case scenario for SOS.
Yeah, you know, this map cross spawns has usually been a position that favors the Zerg. You have such a large distance to go to put any pressure on, but this horizontal spawn, it's so nice that he knows this early as well. Can really influence the strategy that SOS chooses to go for, and likewise Rogue.
I think SOS is almost sad that he scouted Rogue immediately, because I think he was looking for some crazy cannons over here. We know that SOS loves his cannons in this matchup. We saw that in 2013, but even this year at multiple tournaments, DreamHack Stockholm, in the MSI as well in Seattle, he still loves to drop his cannons whenever he can. But when the probe shows up that early in the main base of a Zerg player, you have to be very crazy as a Zerg to still go hatch first when you're playing against SOS.
Yeah, Probe does a cheeky little job of trying to block that hatchery from being placed as SOS starts up his Nexus. And, you know, pretty comfortable position economically speaking. Both players get their expansion started at the same time, but 6 links, Roddy, talk to me. What does it mean?
Yeah, I kind of like that. This is just something to be annoying with, because you're going to force SOS to make a Zealot immediately, and I don't think that Zealot is going to... Oh, he's actually supply block. Wow. Oh. Wow, that's a really big supply block. I mean, this is just normally not something that fits in your build, right? If you're Protoss, you don't want to make the Zealot that early. If it's... You know, if it's really necessary, you make it, but you don't want to.
Ooh, it's really important this probe sees them too. Of course, SOS wants to keep his probe alive out on the map. One Ling will get sent over to try to hunt it down, but at least now he knows he can finish his wall off and be aware that that threat is certainly there.
Yeah, but I think I guess the Zealot will be out just in time. I'm very curious to see what Rogue's going to try to achieve with his couple Zerglings over here, and if they are somehow able maybe to sneak by, but that shouldn't happen.
And Zealot's got broad shoulders, Kev, trying to block that base, but he doesn't want to step past the wall. Those Lings could run by and check how many gas geysers he's mining from. Well, Zealot he's going to be forced to use it to try to fight.
Oh, and you definitely don't want to lose your pylon this early. That could also unpower the gateway, I think, if you would be able to get it in time before that second Zealot. All Lings do get in, though.
Okay, well, this gets really dicey right now. Has to cancel the pylon to get the Zealot back in. There's the kill on the pylon, so no more Zealots, but the second one did finish. He can spread them between his bases and try to hunt down those Lings.
That really makes sOS's life so much easier. If you have to deal with this with only a single Zealot, it just becomes very frustrating. He does, however, have the Mothership Core on the way, and I think it's almost done.
Well, on the way, he's supply blocked for a little bit longer because of that pylon kill.
This is just very frustrating. I think he's sending his Mothership Core across the map. He wants to know if there is an extractor, you know, if Rogue is mining gas. Does he have to worry about a crazy amount of speedlings, something we saw live do multiple times? Or is this just a macro-oriented opening for Rogue, where he's just trying to be very, very annoying with his Zerglings?
And that Zealot did get sent straight away across. Now, this Queen is off creep. She's helpless, cannot defend herself. That without the creep, she moves too slow to run away. So the Zealot gets a nice kill. Big pickup, actually, denying the first inject on that hatchery and possibly a creep tumor or two, but those Lings still being equally annoying on the other side of the map.
Yep. But I do think it's very important there. Picking up that Queen, that's going to make his life a lot easier. It's going to make it a lot harder for Rogue to spread creep. And we saw that in the previous series. The more creep, the better, especially because sOS is the type of Protoss that often delays his robotic facility. So picking up a Queen in this phase in the game is a pretty damn big deal. And he starts working on that hatch. He should never be able to kill it. But this is very frustrating for Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, just think about in the long run, this hatchery now is a big target for sOS to snipe later on. It's already lost half of its hit points. Any gateway push could possibly kill it and just recall out later.
3 more gateways are on their way, but sOS does actually have a probe, I believe, on the top side of the map, right? That's 4 gateways, Nate.
Yeah, he's going way up. This is going to be a really big push. Another gateway gets added, 6 total. Oh boy.
And Zergling's speed is not even ready yet. If this probe somehow, some way finds that, that Zergling finds the probe, that would be massive. But
7 gateways now.
This is going to be extremely difficult for Rogue to defend.
He's starting spores. He's going to be like last game, man. He's going to be walking his spores into the other armies saying, please be useful.
He's in a lot of trouble, Nate. Defending this without Zergling speed is extremely difficult. He will spot those units, but I love how sOS was sending a probe towards the third base as well, giving his opponent the idea. He's like, don't worry, man, I'm going up to 3 bases as well, Rogue. He's not. He's 7-gating you, and you need literally everything you have right now to somehow defend this.
And this is going to be very difficult for Rogue to stop. And, you know, this has to be everything. If he loses this fight, if he loses this base, he loses the match and his chance at finally becoming a world champion in StarCraft 2. The spores are put forward. They're going to help push the Mothership Core back. It's something, but the first voices are going to get dropped. The Lings do not have speed walking up to these sentries. One of them does get picked off, but the Queens are all isolated, and those warp gates are finishing up, Roddy.
Yep, 30 Zerglings are on the way, but more and more Zealots will be warped in for sOS, and this is really not good for Rogue. His Roach Ward was so late. You need Roaches against the Zealots, because by the time he has the Lings now, he needs something else, and it's going to take so long before those Roaches are here.
Yeah, these Zealots are a great deterrent to these very slow Zerglings. The Queen, very low on health as well. They can't fight back. Time Warp's going to slow down the reinforcements. The Zealots get on top of all of the Zerglings. The Stalkers beautifully tucked between these forces, and everything is just dying, falling apart for Rogue here in the second semifinal of the World Championship Series. More Stalkers coming in. The next warp in is Zealots. He's got a pylon right on top of that rip. There's nothing here for Rogue to fight back with.
He has nothing left, Nate. All the Zerglings died before the Roaches arrived, and that's just not the way to stop a 7-gate. It was going to be very hard regardless, but sOS, he just didn't make any mistakes, and he's in a phenomenal position right now. He can end it, he can go back, he can literally do whatever he wants. This is sOS's playing field.
sOS is going to make one last push to secure himself a shot against life to fight for his second world champion title. Into the natural, up come the drones. There's nothing Rogue can do. He's pushing it. There's the time warp. There's the force field. Everything desperately trying to hold this push for one last chance, for one last breath to fight here in the global finals, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Every last unit falling, the spine crawlers dying. GG! sOS will go to the grand finals.
3-0 over his teammate, man. This guy, he looks unstoppable as well. What an amazing finals.